Welcome back to Straight Up. I'm Sal. This is Don. Don, I don't know if you know this, but one of my favorite TV shows is a reality show called Big Brother. It's been on for, I think, 28 seasons now, very popular. And I really enjoy watching that show. And the reason why I bring that up is because I'm sure a lot of listeners know the preface of Big Brother. You get like 16 people in a house, and every move, every word that's spoken is recorded. And you can even go on live feeds 24/7 and see what everybody's doing. The cameras are always watching. And the reason why I bring this up is because in the news lately, there has been a lot of talk about these flock cameras. Now, you've heard of them, correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I know there's some pros and cons to them, and I wanted to discuss a little bit about these cameras to find out what you think. I do have some good and some bad, but first I want to start off with the whole idea of the flock camera. What do you think?
Well, number one, unfortunately, people, for the ease of use, have given up their freedom for years, right? Just to make something a little bit easier, right? Even banking, you click a button on the phone, next thing you know, you just paid somebody 10 grand or some shit, right? Where the actual banking system is slow and cumbersome. You got to go to the bank, and then they got to hold the cash, and then you get it, and then every direction, you write them a check, and it's not available for X amount of days, whatever. So people have traded ease of use for their privacy. And so a big thing has been these phones, right? The phones, they track everything. I do a lot of research on that. And basically a phone, everything you text, everything you put on the social media, everything, even your conversations, everything is been recorded. So don't kid yourself and think it's not. Your Face ID, your voice recognition, everything, right? Well, they started out with these cameras as traffic cameras, which I kind of agree with, because I like the traffic cameras better than getting pulled over, because it's more about money, which is basically what our system needs, is money, not people going to jail because they were speeding and all this other crap. And so I kind of like that because it's a revenue thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they've carried it too far. So now they started having surveillance cameras. And those are those flock cameras, right? Like,
Yeah.
if a crime happens in a specific area, they used to go to like business owners and say, "Hey, you got anything on your camera of this? Somebody got killed last night," and then you find the perpetrator through someone's camera.
Yeah,
Well,
Ring doorbells used to help us out a lot going on calls or
right,
for
so
break-ins.
right, Ring doorbells was the most common. Most
Even the
people don't
neighbors. Yeah.
Right. Most people
Mhm.
don't have sophisticated cameras. Like I have sophisticated cameras in my house, but most people don't have that. But anyways, so now they got these cameras up for surveillance. Well, now they got these things, they're called flock cameras.
Yeah.
Basically, everything is captured inside these things. Now, they're tracking devices, and it kind of goes synonymous with these data centers, right? So it collects your license plate, the type of car, facial recognition. But really, another thing that people don't understand is it tracks the signal in your phone, right? So it knows that you're in that car. So we have all of these things that have connected us to Big Brother. Big Brother's got his hand on our shoulder, whether we like it or not. He's watching every move, and it's getting more and more. And not only are they watching it, but it's all getting saved. Okay. I mean, I guess the upside is it's going to be more difficult to commit a crime. But let's face it, our government's criminals anyway. So anything that we do, right, is going to be recorded. But hey, we just manipulate the stock market, but that's not going to be recorded, right? Because they are Big Brother. So Big Brother gets away with whatever Big Brother wants to get away with, and everybody else is held feet to the fire. So the bottom line is, the only way you could really have any privacy is take your phone, turn it off, put it in a glove box, put it in a drawer, go for a walk in the woods, go on the lake with no phone, or maybe a flip phone or something if you wanted to keep a phone. Yeah. But aside from that, I mean, there's eyes in the sky, and now everything's going into space, right? So everything's going to be tracked. There's going to be cameras everywhere. But a lot of it right now, we're connected by the signal that we carry in our pocket, which is
Yeah.
our phone. Very few people walk around without their phones. And so, like you're taking a walk around the park, you could be watched from space based on the signal that your phone's sending out. So these flock cameras basically have completely stolen all of our privacy.
Well, what about the people that have the digital assistants in their house, like the Alexa? I don't want to get anybody started, or the Google devices. They say that those things aren't recording what you're doing, but they are listening. And the reason why we know they're listening is because they're always listening for that catchphrase that activates them. Like your phone is, hey, SIRI. So it wakes it up. So it is always listening. And I'm sure people out there are thinking this already. How many times you're talking to someone in your residence about a particular product, all of a sudden you start getting ads for it everywhere. And you're like, I didn't Google anything. I didn't look up anything. All I did was talk about it out loud. And it's everywhere. And I know the cell phones do track us. It's called triangulation. And we use it as a tool in law enforcement years ago to find a senior citizen that was missing who had her vehicle, but she had a cell phone. We were able to pin it down after getting a warrant, and this will come back, the whole warrant thing. After getting a warrant to get her cell phone information, we were able to find her. But bringing up the word warrant, because that's one of the things people are worried about with this. Law enforcement, which I'm very pro law enforcement, but we have a set standard where we have to get a warrant. Like if I wanted to get your phone information, if I think you committed a crime, I would have to draw up a warrant, go before a judge, and get it approved to search your phone. Well, now with these flock cameras, it kind of bypasses the whole warrant thing, because I could just go into our camera system and say, hey, was Don's car over here? He had to have committed that crime because his car was here. So you're kind of bypassing the whole warrant thing that we have set up to protect people's privacy. And now it really doesn't apply because everything's being recorded, like you said. So, and the other thing is not only bypassing the warrant, do you think these cameras give people maybe a false sense of security? Like you go out and you're like, oh, well, I'll be okay because there's cameras everywhere, so nothing's going to happen to me.
Well, I think a lot of people assume that they're safe, with Big Brother all over. And what's interesting is, a victim mentality is basically there's nothing I did wrong. It's not holding yourself accountable. It's nothing I did wrong. It's the place, it's the people, it's the weapon, it's the this, it's that. And so, I mean, I'm going to go back to years ago. I used to buy in pioneer neighborhoods, homes and businesses, and I had this really nice home. If you're familiar and you're in Chicago, it was Bucktown.
Oh, yeah.
And I turned a 3-flat into a single family home. And I had my dad over there. And we were standing out in front. And at the time, the prices had gone dramatically up. It was early 90s. And there was a guy walking down the street. Looked like a normal guy. And me and my dad were standing out there. And I said, how you doing? To the guy walking by. The guy put his head down and kept walking. And I said to my dad, I go, they're not friendly like they are over where we grew up. And he goes, you have to remember these people are professional victims, okay? He goes, that guy's probably been beaten and robbed. His wife's probably been raped. His house has been burglarized. His car's been stolen. But he's going to live here, and he doesn't want any interference between going from work to his house. He just wants to get home safely. And that was years ago that he said that. But I think about that now, and a lot of these people with these victim mentalities, right? They think that everything else is accountable for them. They're not accountable for themselves. It's not like you got in trouble because you're in a bad neighborhood, or you're driving a shit box down to Dan Ryan, or and you're going to break down, and who's where are you going to go, who you
Yeah.
The bottom line is people don't hold themselves accountable, so they had that victim mentality. So yeah, absolutely, they look at these cameras and they say, hey, I'm safe, nothing can happen to me, this person will get caught.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you're
And
saying.
those cameras might not be as great as you think they are. Although, excuse me, the technology is there for sure. And what you also brought up was interesting is that the cameras, people can learn your routines very easily. You know, what time you leave your house, what time you come home, on your days off, what do you tend to do?
You know what
It's just
else, Sal, though?
recording. Yeah.
I don't want to get us off track on the flock cameras, but these stupid phones, right? These stupid
Yeah.
phones, they track everywhere that you go, all the addresses that you go to, how long you've been there, what route you took, how
Yeah.
fast you were driving. They record, it's all recorded. Everything's recorded when you have these phones with you. So I'm not trying to get away from the flock conversation, but it's all interconnected, right? All of
Yeah.
this stuff is interconnected. And even in the home, like you said, with smart homes, but the TVs, the computers, your iPads, your phones, even your people got those iWatches and all.
Yeah. Let's not forget the
Everything is
watch.
tracking
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Right. So now the iWatch, I had one of those and I used it for exercise and stuff, track how many miles and heart rate and all this. But guess what? We're not the only one that gets that information. They can see what your health is, right? They can see if you
Oh,
exercise.
that's another good one. Yeah. The health apps track everything about you.
I mean, they can see, what your hobbies are. Hey, I bicycle ride, or
Yeah.
on mine, I would put hockey, right? I play hockey just from the health app on my watch. So the bottom line is everything's tracking you. And I don't know about anybody else that's listening, but I will tell you that's the one thing that I still value is my privacy and my freedom. And those are the two things that are getting affected by flock cameras and all this technology, data centers and phones and all this technology. It's really affecting, our what's the word, autonomy, right? Our ableness to be free and our ableness for privacy. And I mean, it makes me think of the old school mob um, stories that would be on TV where everybody left their phones, in the microwave oven and we go for a walk in the woods. I mean, but that's not even becoming safe anymore. So like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I think people were aware that the privacy was getting stripped years ago, with the phones tapped, all the old school ways that they would spy on people. But now it's so high tech that there's so much against you that even if you're well informed, they're still spying on you. Don't kid yourself.
Well, yeah. Look at your pictures. Every picture you take has a metadata stamp on it of where you were, where the picture was taken. I think that's something you could turn off. But the thing is, a lot of this stuff is on by default, which they do on purpose.
And that brings up another point. So now they got AI, right? So AI can pretty much do anything. It can take a clip of your voice or my voice and it can duplicate it. It'll sound exact. It can take a clip of my face or your face. It can duplicate it exactly. So the moral to the story is people can create a truth that people think is true that's not true. Your face saying something, you're doing something in a court of law, right? A video would hold water in a court of law, but now it doesn't. And the other part is too is it invalidates things in the past. So things in the past that were real based on that technology at that time were real. So if you had a video or you had a picture of something that was true and real back in the day, now moving forward with the AI, people be like, oh, it's just AI, it's full shit. Or, if it's something that you're either using for your credibility or you're trying to show somebody nothing. So the bottom line is nobody's going to know what's true and what's not true. And my fear on this whole thing is nowadays with this agendas that they have, doesn't matter right, left, doesn't matter, but this freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of privacy, all these freedoms that we once had go away. I think when we don't abide by the rules of the system, right, especially with this one world government that they're trying to put in place, what my fear is they could use AI, right, to hemp you up, to make you either they can invalidate you on social media, or they can make you guilty in a court of law based on AI, enhancements or voice, something that you said, something, a video. I think that the problem is that people are not going to be able to understand the truth from a lie. And I
Well,
think that,
yeah, I think it's very hard. You're right. People can't tell. I mean, if I have video of me when I worked in radio downtown at the radio station in the studio working the board. And if I tell somebody, hey, I used to work at a radio station, here's a video of it, people would say, oh, okay, yeah, you did. But if I didn't have that video, if I want to make it up, I could produce that video probably within 20 minutes
right.
of me in that studio, doing what I was doing and show to someone, hey, look, I was here. And that is the scary part. And there's a lot of apps that are free to try to do that. And I'll show you one a little bit that I did. It's just amazing what you could do and replicate the voice and the picture. And it's very scary. And I think it's continuing on gathering our information with these flock cameras. Like you said, they track what clothes you're wearing. But the problem is also it's recording innocent people who've probably never committed a crime. Now they're being recorded and tracked, and the database is being made on them. So it's not only criminals, it's innocent people too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this stuff is kind of scary. Like you said, those things that people have in their homes, Alexas and all those other things. The problem is let's say you're a guy that's harmless as a heel hound, right? And you see some crap on TV, right? And you say, and you'd say, I'm going to kill or I'm going to shoot this person or that person, the president or this or that. Well, now they got it. They have your voice saying it, right? And you're just talking. You're in your house. You think you're in privacy, and it's recorded, right? Now all of a sudden something happens. Now the CIA's knocking at your front door, and you're getting arrested, and they have recordings of you saying some shit. So I think, just the same way that our government has been compromised over the years, right? Like either they buy into the system and they're part of the system, or they're not. And when they're not, they're compromised. And I think that with the AI, they're going to be able to compromise people so much easier, right? They're going to be able to leverage people to get what they want. And I think that that's the scary part. And, I think that people understanding what's true and what's not is already, people are scrambling to try and figure out what the truth is now.
You can manufacture anything.
But just wait. If you think people are screwed up now, wait until this AI is in full swing. Nobody's going to know up from down anymore.
No, you're right. And, that's the scary part. And I do want to touch, I know we got about 10 minutes left. I do want to touch upon some of the good things that I think about the flock cameras.
Let's hear about the good things.
But before I get into that, we're talking about AI and how easy it is. I want to play you a video. And if you could watch it and listen to it, just watch this real quick. I think people at home could see this too. That was complete. No, that's me. That's me. That's my voice. The issue is that wasn't me. I don't know who that girl is. That girl is completely AI. And I was able to produce that video in probably 6-7 minutes just by giving it a prompt of what to do. And it completely did. And I have many more. I didn't upload the other ones, but you get the gist of it. That is, I mean, if you were to show that to somebody and say, hey, look, and you'd say, oh, wow, who's the girl, Sal? I seen you hugging her. You know her. And I'd be like, I don't know her. It's completely made up. People would be like, come on. That's your voice. That's your mannerisms. That's everything. Who's the girl? That's how scary that is, that manufacturing anything.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's say I'm the next door neighbor. I got the hots for your wife, right? And seriously, let's say I'm gonna get her, and I make some fucking bullshit, and I go over to her and I say, you know what, Sal's cheating on you. I got a video, right? Yeah. It's gonna work for most people because most people believe all of that stuff.
And it's still in its infancy, where a lot of people don't know that you could do that so well.
Right. Right. But what's funny though, I will tell you, when I show different things to my son, he's like, "Oh, that's AI." Like, how do you know it's AI? And he's like,
Yes,
"Well,
I
so
know.
a lot of the young people actually do know,
Yeah, I
but
get the same thing.
so I don't know how they know, but I don't know if as things advance, if it's going to even fool them, you know?"
Well, I don't know how they could tell the difference. Maybe just because they're in it more. I know the picture's clear. People like, I know they could analyze little things like I know it's some of this stuff would be like, hey, you have 6 fingers, and you could tell it's AI. But you look at that video I sent. I mean, it's short, and it could get the message across. You know, where was I? Who was I with? Who's that girl? That was you. So it is scary what you can do. And that's just one of the videos. I mean, I put myself on the Titanic where you would think, I mean, you would know I wasn't on the Titanic, obviously, but I'm just saying what you could do with this. The other video, I had myself selling an iPhone in the Apple store to a girl who looked just like that. I'm having a conversation with her. I got the Apple shirt on and everything. The background, I'm in the store. You would swear I went there and recorded that video. Or I could tell someone I worked at Apple. Here's the proof. So it's scary. But before we run out of time, I wanted to talk about some of the good things of the flock cameras and see what you do. I think what they say is it helps assisting in solving crimes, especially hit and run accidents.
For sure.
That's something that would help out. Also, like I mentioned earlier with the senior citizen we had, God, this was probably in 90 something. For any amber or silver alerts, it helps in locating missing children, missing senior citizens, or any adult. So they help with that. They also say that it could help with the police budgets because when you have cameras spread out in different areas, those are less areas that the patrolman has to patrol to see what's going on. So in essence, I think it boosts the coverage of your shift to watch things because, like we said, Big Brother's watching. So it's like having a squad go down the street real slow. Well, now we have cameras there. So it assists with the police. Also, if a crime is reported and the police department has access to the cameras and the video footage, that's instant evidence and instant information that could be sent to the officers responding to the call. They could say, hey, somebody just shot out my window and a stray bullet hit someone in the house. If they go back and look at their video, the units arriving, dispatch could say, this is the car that we're looking for. This is, the license
plate. The guy in the red
hat
hat with the shotgun, yeah.
Exactly. So that could help out with that. And also, it will help prosecutors to use this as digital evidence for convicting criminals. Now, like
if they actually decide they want to do that, because these sanctuary cities don't want
to. They don't. That's a whole nother show, how they don't want that. But it would help prosecution, I believe. Any attorneys listening out there, I think that would be a key thing. Those are just some of the things that I came up with that I thought would be pros for the flock cameras. What do you think?
I agree with you. Good friend of mine, he just retired. He was sergeant in the city, and he was talking about when a policeman got killed, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he goes, "We'll get him." He goes, "We'll get him." He goes, "These other crimes, they get overlapped by the next crime, right? This guy gets killed. Okay, who was here? Da, 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 da. And then 5 minutes later, there's another crime, and that one overlaps it. And but he goes, once one of our guys gets hurt or killed, he goes, we'll get him. And I was talking to him about it, and he said the same thing. He's like, between the cameras, between the technology out there, and our guys, we have enough resources where we will find the perpetrator.
Yeah,
1,000% we're going to catch him. And I thought it was really interesting that he was that confident that they're catching him no matter what. And so I'm sure it's got to do with exactly what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And there's bottom line is we're being watched at all times. And I think people have a hard time probably getting their arms around that, but we are. I mean, these computers, everything's watching us, right? Everything's watching and recording us. And so the only way you can get away from that is get away from all technology. And if you can, that's great. But I think that the only way to do that is you have to be away from, away from cities, and you got to be out in the country, you know?
You got to be in the woods somewhere with nothing,
Right.
completely off the grid, for sure. And that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Also, everybody's against something like this until they need it. People could sit there and say, I know I've seen some videos on Facebook. My local area, there's a guy that has a pole with a black screen. I think he used a pull skimmer and he put black tape on it, and he just sits there in a chair with the pole in front of the flock camera so it doesn't record. There's also a couple people that are going around cutting them down. I know a couple people got caught. They're trying to do a GoFundMe to pay his legal bills. I don't know where that falls, the legality of obstructing those cameras. If there is no crime on the books, I guarantee you there's going to be one, for people who manipulate the cameras. And, a lot of people are against them, but you never know when you may need them.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Like I said, I have cameras in my house, and
Yeah,
we don't need them. But something
That's right.
happens, people are gonna be coming to me. What'd you see on the cameras? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when I had cameras years ago, I started out years ago with cameras, and I remember I had a neighbor of mine kind of making fun, like, what are you doing with all that? Why do you need that? That's crazy. And this was before cameras were even mainstream. And then about 6 months later, somebody damaged his tree. Well, guess who got the text and the call right away? Hey, can you tell me what happened? Who did this? And I'm like, oh, those cameras aren't so bad anymore, are they?
It's the same thing with anything. It's the guns, right? People are anti-guns, right?
Yeah.
They know you got guns. Shit hits a fan. Whose door are they knocking on, right?
Till you need one, right?
Yeah, everything's stupid until you need it, right? And so it is what it is. But I truly think that all these flock cameras, ultimately, the demise of our freedom and our privacy. And I think those are two things that we really should be trying to protect, because we don't have a lot left. A lot of our freedom is evaporating, even though they make it seem as though it's not.
Well, yeah. And, the criminals are using technology every day, improving on technology to scam you and commit crimes against you. So there's that talk of, well, us as potential victims, now we're using something in technology, state of the art, to combat that or to put them away. So, I mean, I guess it goes both ways. There are pros and there are cons. I think we're going to wrap up here because we're running out of time. But I guess my final thought on this, and I'll get yours in a second, is I'm just not sure, Don. I just don't know if these are a good thing or a bad thing. I see it from both different sides of how it could be good and bad. And having a history in law enforcement, this is a great tool. But also, your rights are violated with this stuff. But are we welcoming that anyways into our lives, like you said, with the phones and the watches and stuff? So I guess the bottom line is, after a half hour talking about this, I just don't know whether it's a good thing or not. I guess time will tell. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are the things that are important are the things that God has put here on this earth. And I don't think he put technology, and I don't think he put data centers, and I don't think he put cameras. So the moral to the story is the things we need is not what we're focused on, and we need to focus on the things that we actually do need. And that's all I really got to say about it.
Okay. Well, another great show, Don. It was a good discussion. I invite people to visit our website, donhanstonshow.com. They could email us at straightupdonhanston@gmail.com. Also, if you like the video, do us a favor, click that thumbs up, like this, hit the bell to subscribe. This way, when a new episode drops, you'll be notified. Also, subscribe and let your friends know. Send the video, tell the people, tell your friends, let them know that we're out here. You can also check us out audio only. Our podcasts are on Apple, Overcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Audio, and also Rumble too. Let's not forget Rumble. So if you guys could do that, we'd really appreciate it. And thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next time here on Straight Up, the Don Hanston Show.
Have a great day.